Hey, this is Anthony Ramirez back again with the Lab Podcast, and today I have a very special guest. And for this month, that we've been really focusing on entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurial spirit, and all the things that come along with that, the highs and lows, and the wins and losses, and we can all learn from. And my good friend Antonio here oh my God, we've known each other about what, 15 years?
Oh
now?
man, it's been a minute.
Right?
I used to have hair.
Yeah. Me same.
You had some hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I remember those days.
And his lovely wife, Diana. And obviously, we met through real estate. But at the same time, I know you had this passion for food. And you and I have gone down to go taco tasting. But ultimately, down the line, you guys started a business. And it was a very unique type of business. And it's very unique to the marketplace. Tres Fuegos. Tell me about it.
Where do we begin? Tres Fuegos is a Mico. It's a legal home restaurant.
Yes.
We opened 5 years ago, 4 years ago with the passion for sharing our birria recipe. There was no birria in Chula Vista. There was only very few restaurants that had it. And as Mexicans, you crave the traditional dishes that we grew up with in Tijuana, because we grew up in Tijuana.
Yeah.
And we just got that idea. There was another business that inspired us to say, well, why don't we just see if we have a good birria recipe?
Yeah.
Let's start with that. And boom. And then came the boom of selling out from the very beginning.
Yeah.
We started just making lines around the block until eventually
During COVID.
During COVID.
But I think this is very interesting to understand. So if people are not familiar with the small at-home business, this is very unique because you legit got like the first permit for your city to be able to operate like this.
Yes, we advocated for that to be possible in the city. Actually, the organizations reached out to us because after having a thriving business from home, we never intended that. We just wanted to see if we had a birria recipe that people liked.
People like it and people were going to pay for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We just wanted to see, but then everything started happening for us. And we eventually got into a commercial space, getting our catering license, and with no experience in the restaurant business. We come from a passion of cooking and sazon and flavor. That's our passion. That's our specialty, working with fresh ingredients and creating amazing dishes. That's exactly what we wanted to offer. That's our product.
Yeah.
And I forgot what I was going to say.
We had no idea what we were doing.
You had no idea what you're doing.
No, we had no idea.
It sounds like you guys are just doing it for passion.
Yeah, we had no idea.
Who used to wake up at 2 a.m. to go to a commercial kitchen and cook? I was like, why? I'm like, why are we doing that?
Going at 2, Antonio. I need to be there. I just wanted to be there at 3 a.m. I was in the commercial kitchen. But by then we already had our certifications. We already had done a lot of the work behind to get into that commercial kitchen. Investments in equipment and every money that we were getting, I was investing it back into my business. I had a huge drive.
Let's rewind a little bit because obviously you guys are both in real estate first, right? And that's what you were doing. That was your thing, and it's great.
We're still doing it.
You're still doing your real estate, right? Which is awesome. And the reason why I kind of bring this specific topic up is because right now I'm doing a workshop with realtors and investors on how to become truly financially independent, right? And the whole premise for these guys to do this is so they can ultimately do what they really want to do, right? And when I start posing this question of like, what are your needs? Like, how much per month do you need to make at your regular off of your passive cash flow? And then if you had that, what would you do with your life? And it was crazy because everybody started being like, bro, I would do this. I would do that. I wouldn't be a teacher anymore. I'm like, I'd build race cars. Like, that's what I would do. Why? Because I love that. And then I see you guys and I'm watching this guy posting food all the time because of his passion for food.
I'm a griller. Remember that.
Yeah.
I love to grill.
Yeah. But it goes back to that original thing.
The original of sharing.
If you had the ability to do whatever you wanted to do, what would it be? And for you guys, it happened to be food.
Exactly.
And it's still food. Food brings people together. It's like, dude, when you say we're going to have a gathering at the house, they know there's going to be food and there's going to be good food. So we like to feed people. I don't know why, we just like it. I like to get fed too. So, but I mean, I love to grill. I mean, you've seen some of my tomahawk steaks, picanha, culot.
Pull it just a little bit.
Everything I've done.
And what's coming up.
We
haven't even released this menu. In the last 2 years, we barely focused on marketing for our business because we were growing at a rapid pace.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up with the quality.
Pure word of mouth.
Yes, pure word of mouth.
But not
by pure word of mouth. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
pure word of mouth, we were able to enter a Hollywood producer's home in Rancho Santa Fe by pure word of mouth. The deans of colleges by pure word of mouth. Just here, because we
zero marketing.
Zero marketing.
Well, in the last 2 years, I've barely put anything up. If you look at our pages, you'll rarely see anything because we've been focusing on the quality of my product. So much thing happened for us. And like I said, we were growing rapidly that the quality was going out. And I understood I need to get better and focus on the quality because if I build that, then the rest will come.
That was the foundation of everything.
Exactly.
The reason why they came to you to begin with.
Exactly. And if I focused on the things that were happening to me, coming up in the news, magazines, books, the things that were coming up for me that I let go of. I said, I didn't even want that. My passion was to share my food.
That's beautiful.
And so if I focused on that, so media and all that at the time, I could, my quality wasn't going to be there. And what I'm in for is the quality. So the last 2 years, we've been working our craft and we have amazing products coming out. And we just recently went plant-based as well and realized there's not a lot of delicious food out there that work just with plants and vegetables and the things that I love. And, we're getting ready to open up our home restaurant and roll out these amazing, unique recipes that I've created with love for everybody.
It's such a beautiful thing, though, that you stayed true to it, because I think as entrepreneurs, there's so many shiny objects that come along the way. And it's difficult to really stay 100% focused on why it is that you're doing it and what's the most important thing. And in your world, if you're getting offered a book or this or that and all these other random opportunities, they're great, but it's beautiful to see that you didn't allow that to take you off your purpose. No. And that was the fundamental driving ethos of why you're doing it and staying true to that. Exactly. And I think it's also really important to know this because a lot of people, as they're watching this, I'm sure you got a lot of advice from a lot of people.
Oh, yes.
And that was actually more distracting than anything, is my guess.
I still do. And I still have to learn to block.
Family members that have never been in the restaurant business are giving you their 2 5 cents.
Or let's not go there. Why don't you do this like that? Why don't you do this?
Why don't you start your own business? And you do it.
And realize if you add just one item to a plate, how long that item takes. Just little things like that I've had to learn.
But you do pick up good nuggets here and there.
Oh, of course.
People.
Yeah.
You recognize the talent in people.
Yeah.
And you hire people based on that as well because they bring something to the table for you. Yeah. It begins with loyalty and it ends with loyalty. And anything that I've learned to create that and it just, they work well. Like the team we have,
they all
for
share
events.
the same passion.
Exactly. They all know how to fix things, but because they know, I need help. And they're there fixing things when I'm not there. They're my eyes behind me and things like that. So that's the team that we've been able to serve weddings. So we never even knew caterings for weddings, and we've served 200 people, 250 people now with zero experience. Remember, we started from home. So that's what I focused on the last 2 years, on being able to get those opportunities and like be a 10.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons I really wanted you guys on, because of not just talking with him and the passion, but that a lot of people think that you have to have all this money and have a location and have a brand and have all this other stuff.
That's exactly why I advocated for this program, because when we went into the food business, we had no idea. We were just making money from home. Mm-hmm. So we said, well, if we go to a commercial kitchen, we'll be able to have more quantities, this and this and that. And there we went, signing a lease without really looking, in the whole plan. Because
we didn't know.
We didn't know. The first 2 months, we realized, oh my God, the rent for the kitchen, I wasn't counting on $1,800, $2,000 being my first month of rent, plus all the employees I needed extra, the extra hours I had to be in the kitchen to cook away from home, and leaving my kids on their own. That was the biggest, one that I never.
It wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it. When my kids were there every Saturday by themselves, because they were preteens, they could be by themselves, but I didn't even have a babysitter for them because I had taken care of them. Yeah. So it's like, you know what?
But that's a beautiful epiphany, though. Mm-hmm. I know I'm 100% guilty of this, especially in the real estate business, is that the business starts to control you versus you controlling the business. Mm-hmm. And especially like in real estate, you're 24/7. Like, oh my God, I got another deal. I got another call. Sorry, I got to take this. Oh, it's my kid's birthday party. I got to take this call. Mm-hmm. Right.
That's exactly how we were. And the demand was getting us to, we needed more days of operation to make more money. And I was like, I knew in my heart, it's not your time. It's just not the time right now. You can't sacrifice the most important thing. We weren't in it for that. So I decided I'm going to close it, but I'm not leaving my dream. I just know that I can't take it any further. This is the next step from home, and I couldn't afford it. So I was like, this right now, I'm not quitting. Mm-hmm. I'm leaving it in the hands of God. And whenever that opportunity arises again, it will come to you.
Man, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah. And let me tell you, not even 4 months later, organizations started reaching out to us because they knew our story. They knew we closed. A lot of people knew that.
They were kind of bummed out.
They were bummed out. I was quiet. I just didn't move anything. Quietly.
They were rooting for you, and they're like, yes. Oh, man, what the hell?
Mm-hmm, exactly. So after that, the organizations that were moving Micos came to us and asked us if we wanted to be that story of how hard it is to open a commercial space. And at the beginning, I was wary. I was like, wait, what is this? Because you do so much work to legalize. We spent so much money, a huge investment in getting everything ready just to move to a commercial space. I had maybe invested like $10,000 just in that step. And it was like, how am I going to open a kitchen? Like, I know the people out there are paying a lot. I know what they went through to operate a catering business. It's a huge investment. So I was kind of worried, but when they told me that you were going to need these certifications, it's not just about going to the county and opening a food business and getting a license. No, you have to get certifications. You have to learn
testing
the process.
And the licensing.
Yes, the Serve Safe Manager certificate, which is like a huge certification. And anybody that has a Mico that operates a Mico in San Diego, you could know that they follow the safe process to delivering safe food, because a lot of people that operate from home unfortunately don't have these certifications. Yeah, and I don't know, but we've experienced that.
That's the thing that kind of gets me worried, because I think as Latinos in particular, we have this entrepreneurial spirit.
Exactly,
and so which is awesome, right? Because I feel like we're blessed as a culture, and we see those guys selling like tamales. Exactly. Right, they used to come to my building, bring in the wagon, and get my tamales, and I wouldn't know where that came from.
Exactly,
for all I know, right? And it tastes pretty good. Mm-hmm. But to your point, I don't know the temperature of the food handling.
Exactly,
I don't know if this has been exposed to.
You can get sick.
Yeah, it's been exposed to raw chicken, and the little things that you need to know.
Exactly.
Right. So you can have all the greatest intentions of the world, but if you don't take the time to really want to choose to become a professional, that's what really separates the two. And unfortunately, I think the opposite side of our culture is the volada, you just want to go do it.
Exactly.
Right? But
I wish I would have stayed like that, because that was so easy, just to get in the kitchen, cook, offer my food.
Yeah.
The best. That was the best. But it doesn't work like that. And we weren't in business for that. So it's made us elevate ourselves.
When you take that ServSafe test, it's not easy, but it's not hard.
He has it too.
And
both of us have it.
I'm like, damn, I knew things that I didn't even know. I'm like, what? Airborne bacteria? What? The chicken goes bad? I'm like,
right?
When we cook the chicken, we leave it out all day at home, put it in the oven and microwave.
He's never used a temperature probe for like our person.
I have never used it.
Right.
I'm like, what is this for? I'm like, the steaks, it looks good. It's ready to go.
It looks good.
but when you get your ServSafe, now I know a lot of things, like don't cut the chicken where you cut the meat. Use a different color board, a different knife, different thongs.
Disinfect.
The disinfect. Dude, I'm like, disinfect what? We disinfect all the counters. I'm like, I didn't even know we had to do that.
Yeah.
But you do. There's a little solution. You do it. But you know what? Now I know comfortably that I'm anal when I cook, and she knows. I'm like, dude, if that lemon fell on the floor, don't wash it. Throw it away. We're not going to wash it. I'm just like that.
But the thing is that you can come into an industry like this from two different sites. You can go through a culinary school where you're learning a craft very structured, right? Which is great. There's no knock on that. People can become very successful that way. And then, or you come from the opposite end where you found like you have a natural talent and passion for, but don't have the structure of this other opposite end yet. And it's just taking that leap, right? And it's not that big of a difference once you do that thing. You never lost your technique.
No.
The food, the flavor, the passion, that's all there. Matter of fact, I don't even think schools can necessarily teach that part.
No, they don't. I've been going to. I went to school. I'm finishing a certification, and I realized, okay, you're good. Like me, because we all followed the same recipe.
Yeah.
All have different levels of experience, but then you can see who knows and who's just following a recipe, and we're all following the recipe, but some of them master and some of them.
But I mean, it's like such a fine difference where you can feel the love in the food.
Exactly. That's where you add your.
I went to the best university for food. It's like people have no idea. I got my master's degree in the streets of TJ, tasting the food. That's where I learned,
Yeah.
But we tasted everything. We've seen everything. But we didn't go to school. I mean, we just get creative, dude. We see something.
No, but you do bring up a very valid point. San Diego in particular, we by far have the best Mexican food.
I don't know about that.
I think we do.
Compared to other... Los Angeles is
well, compared to LA, we do.
In the United States.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Not the best. We have better, but not the best.
Yeah. Better.
But it's good.
I don't know, man. I think we have some pretty bomb places. But there is some places in LA that are pretty good. Yes. I can see. But it's not like going to Texas. I've been to Texas. They got great barbecue, But it's like that.
Their flavors are different. That's Tex-Mex. It's completely different.
It's completely different. But yet, when you're in Texas and you have barbecue and you come to San Diego, we go to Phil's and it's great barbecue for what we have here. But the passion in itself is because that area, that locale, there's so many locations in it. You can literally just a fine taste difference, even just from the time that you're cooking, how long it's sitting there could be the biggest difference.
Exactly.
Right. That's where I think it's different here, especially for what you're doing, because if you really think about it, our market is extremely competitive. We have a lot of restaurants here. We have a lot of really good restaurants here. And for people to have to come to your place and wait in line just to get it and get it before it gets sold out says something.
Yes, it's definitely been a blessing.
So when we did the pickup from home, we had lines of 6-7 cars. I'm like, dude, the neighbor was taking pictures with his camera. I'm like, fuck. they're gonna call the HOA.
During COVID too, right?
During COVID, we're gonna get all these calls, and then people would peel out from the street. The neighbor would say, "Hey, can you tell them not to do that?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll let them know next time. Just chill." But we had a line. We couldn't keep up
I'm
with
just
it.
thinking these guys are excited. They're
No,
like,
we would leave the
food.
Yeah, that was one of my clients. I'm like, "Hey, next time you come, do not do that." Okay.
It must be that good.
They got excited. He's like, "Dude, I'm excited to go home and taste the birria ramen." I'm like, "Okay, but you don't live too far. Just relax. There's kids on the street."
And that's another thing about the Miko program. You're limited to the amount of quantities. And I agreed with that because when we had those lines around, even our little kitchen, there's only so much you can do out of a kitchen, even a commercial space. So that's one of the reasons we advocated. And I was unafraid to stand next to the city supervisors, which all know us by name and our food.
That was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. They know us. Nora Vargas, Vice Chair Supervisor Nora Vargas, Supervisor Joe Anderson.
Yeah, I Joel.
I went up with them to the news conference, and I told my story unafraid because I'm ready to own it. Mm-hmm. I made a mistake. I didn't know things were illegal. We tried to legalize it. It didn't work out. It's so expensive, and the data to open a restaurant, and it's just, who can afford that?
The leap is really big because I think in that leap of the process, you almost become a slave to the business.
Yes,
because you have to have it like really pumping over
exactly
a lot.
Oh, Anthony, like you have no idea, dude. To open a brick and mortar, it's like, first off, when we started 2 a.m. and we were getting home 9 or 10 at night. Kids were home all day by themselves.
Yeah.
And the expense, I was like, whoo. I mean, plus the experience that we had.
It was an experience.
My first job was a taquero. You don't know that, huh?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So my dad had invested with my aunt, and they had a panaderia. That's where it started from. So as a little kid, I'd go to the panaderia, get my fresh baked goods and everything. Eventually, they opened up a second location, and it was in San Jose, Berryessa, the Hispanic folks. This is where it was at. Eventually, they grew it. They wanted to do a taqueria. So they had the taqueria. It wasn't up and running like 100%. It was up and running, but it wasn't like popular, right? And me and my cousin were like 15, 16 years old, scraping the thing and, getting all this stuff. And we ended up having one of the chefs from a competing taco shop, which I still go to this day because I swear to God, they have the bombest. It maybe brings me back to being a kid. He came over, was showing us the recipes, and midway through the day would be in the back smoking weed. And here we're like 15, 16 years old, right? So me and my cousin would do that, and then my aunt would get mad at me because I ate more than what I cooked.
But didn't you cook better?
It was a learning experience, bro.
Yeah.
It was a learning experience. But you know what, though? I'll tell you what was really, to me, was like the little things that people don't see when you're making salsa in quantities, right? When you're making rice and beans in quantities. Mm-hmm. Like you got to be there at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you got to prep and do all these things. And the rest of the public doesn't see that. And eventually, over time, when we were there, we would have lines going out the door, right? But when we were making the burritos, this was my thinking. I'm like, I'm going to make it how I would love to eat it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I would serve it how I want to be served. That's what I tell everywhere I go to taquero. Le digo, hazlo como tú te lo vas a comer. Mm-hmm. Just give it to me like that. But send me your resume because we're looking for a taquero.
No, bro. I retired.
We need one.
I do it for fun.
Okay.
Yeah. But ironically, as a kid, that experience got me a job working at a bakery, like directly like at a high school for a little bit.
Nice.
But
and I mean, we like food. I like to do food, but I also like real estate. But the food it's interesting.
The food is very near to my heart.
It just feels good when they tell you.
He gets tired of it. There's at times when we're so tired. Last month we had dude,
it was the hours are crazy.
Yes, the hours, and just to
because it's not just when the lights go off, where you connect to the back. It's not when the doors get locked. You still got to clean everything, and then almost get your setup for your morning crew to come in for the prep. Mm-hmm. And then the whole maybe have 3-hour downtime.
Yes.
You know,
it's
from the last shift to the next shift.
Sometimes not even, because everything that we use is fresh.
Ugh.
So we go and hand pick it from the stores.
Yeah.
We don't get the broccoli that's in the package frozen, or the pineapple for the breakfast
frozen
fruit salad. We don't. No. Everything, the tomatillo, she takes me to the store, and I got to sit there and peel one by one to make sure there's no worms in it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm okay, because I know it's going to come out good. I don't mind doing it.
Yeah.
But everything we do is fresh. Nothing is frozen or bought.
That's the whole purpose of the Micos program. Why the city supervisors allowed it is to have more options of fresh food available that are cooked the same day of. So we are only allowed to do the food the day of. So I get up or at night, I'm like putting my ramen pot so it can be ready fresh in the morning. I stay up till 1 or 2 a.m., which I will do today. I have to prepare chile rellenos de birria for tomorrow and the ramen. So it's a lot process, a labor of love. It definitely, food is a labor of love.
Does it feel like work to you right now, because since you're having so much passion in it?
There's days it does, especially when it's a lot of food that you're cooking, like for 200 people, 300 people. That we did a lot of that last year.
Yeah.
But this year we are working our birria menu again, which is we didn't do that at all last year. People were waiting for our ramen, which we brought for you to taste today.
Are you ready?
Yes.
And people were waiting for that, so we hadn't worked that menu in a year.
Yeah.
And now that I'm starting to work it, it's like it's a bittersweet because it's such a beautiful dish. It has so many components. I had forgotten about it. It has so many components. Sometimes I'm like, how did you come up with this?
Yeah.
It's a Japanese ramen.
I know how she did.
It's a Japanese ramen. It's like it has a lot of components. So it's a labor of love. Food.
I would see him post things, and I'm like, bro, save me some. And he's like, I got X amount left. And I live all the way in La Jolla, so I'm like, dude, I gotta drive all the way out there. Take me an hour. It's gonna take me an hour to get back. And then by the time I would try to leave the house, he's like, I'm sold out.
Don't feel bad. We had people come from Carlsbad to pick food up.
No way.
And
Temecula too. Temecula as well.
I said, you came from Temecula? They're like, yeah.
And they
45
came a few
minutes
times.
away.
They came a few times.
Crazy.
And they were like, yeah, we're gonna come again. I'm like, oh, that's when you're like, oh, how cool. I'm like,
yeah,
we got to Temecula. So I'm like, okay.
Those are like the humbling experiences, right? Because you're like, holy shit, my stuff is that good.
When influencers, we have a couple influencers that came in and they match the ramen. You're going to taste it right now. When they match it to real Japanese ramen, because there's a plate that we call birriamen. And if you go to little taco carts, they
all copied us. We were the first ones that brought that dish to San Diego.
No
we
way.
Were
we brought out the name, but they use Maruchan noodles.
Yeah.
The difference is we don't use Maruchan.
Secret sauce or
no, it's not a secret sauce. There's more to it, but I'm just saying they're doing the cheap version. Okay. We're not doing the cheap.
Birria. It's literally
we're doing the
birria.
real ramen version. If you go to a ramen shop on Convoy.
No, I cooked that recipe. I followed traditional Japanese methods. I did not use any Mexican methods.
Where did it come from?
The love of ramen.
You love
ramen? I love, at the time when I started creating all these dish specialties.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, I did my research. I'm an entrepreneur. There was nothing anywhere of birria, like specialties, no chilaquiles. There's only tacos and broth and everywhere. Quesadillas, mulitas. That we all know.
Typical.
The basic.
Traditional
but
stuff.
not even in Tijuana. Nowhere. I did my research. I saw some in Mexico. I saw some, like, I don't remember what it was. Mexico City is up and like they have the hottest food. They have like the latest everything. And I started just going wild with a bunch of ideas and started executing them. And like the chile relleno de birria, it's two traditional dishes. You have the chile relleno, the traditional one with cheese, but I combined it with birria. And I oven bake it, no eggs. You would never know. I don't the way I do it, that it's not the traditional way. But when you taste it, it's just traditional dishes that make your mouth
Did you
go
try all
wild.
the different? Because we have pretty good ramen here in San Diego.
Oh yeah, I go.
Yeah.
My favorite ramen here in San Diego is Menya Ultra. That's
Okay.
one of my favorite ramens.
Yeah. Not
which-
Tajima.
no, Tajima, no.
Ricky Rara, Ricky,
Tashi,
Ricky.
Rocky,
Oh,
Rocky,
dude, they
Rocky,
have
Rocky.
They have the pork
Yeah,
one.
it's Menya
Yeah.
Ultra, Rocky, and then Tajima. Tajima's like my
No way.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell him.
Yeah. Oh, actually, bring him to my home if you know him.
No, yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I want ramen shops to taste my
Yeah.
ramen because I don't have other references than the people that eat it.
Yeah.
So when I remember in the beginning, I just wanted to offer, Mexican food to
Yeah.
Mexicanos because there was not a lot of birria, like I said. But the funniest thing is that people from all cultures started getting our food.
You should put it
Everybody.
in the ramen bowl.
We are when we open the restaurant. I already have them. It's already
our
all set.
backyard-
No, I'm talking about the competition, the ramen bowl, like Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
They have
There's a
one.
ramen bowl?
There,
There's one
I've
called the
seen-
ramen bowl.
Oh well, send. We'll look into
Oh,
it
I
because
don't
I
know.
do. I always
Because
say
all
I
the
want to,
guys, they have all their different locations. I was asking
and
about
I'll
this.
explain you the ramen right now and the difference.
You want to
between,
taste it? Are you ready?
Oh man,
Yeah.
Just but open it or you open
I'll
it
start
right
open
now.
with
it
it.
up. Start prepping
And then
it.
like I said, this ramen is I tried to follow. Now one of the only things that we still are gonna master, and hopefully when we open the backyard and it's a full blown restaurant, we have fresh noodles. But
Yeah.
I chose the noodles that stay, like
Yeah.
because people pick it up from my home,
Yeah.
and sometimes they freeze it.
See,
Sometimes
this is
people.
the thing that I don't think necessarily people I don't think they understand this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Temecula, from where you live, is at least 90 minutes one direction.
Mm-hmm.
So, for people from word of mouth, be willing to drive
Oh
an
yes.
hour and a half just to get something, and then have the hour and a half to go back. Like I won't do that for.
I'll
even
do
like
that.
LA.
We do that.
I
Oh,
do
we
that.
do that. We travel for food.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
We'll
God.
go to Ensenada. We'll go to just for lobster to Puerto Nuevo on any given day.
See, but Puerto Nuevo is different.
well, see, there's
Because you're also
specialty.
like the environment, the ambience. You make it a full day.
Yeah.
Even if I'm gonna go to if I'm gonna take the wifey to Temecula and we're
We
gonna go
used to
wine
just
tasting,
go to
that's different.
Birria
You know what I mean?
before I made it. We just used to go to Tijuana to eat tacos and come back all
Yeah.
the time. All the
Yeah.
time. Just we travel for food. We don't mind it.
Yeah,
But it has to be something you can't find.
like
you know,
super unique.
super unique. Like, there's super unique things. And this is one of the unique, all of our food is pretty much unique.
Because I have my friends that come out of town here all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm always taking them to very particular places.
Yes.
Because come down and like a fish tacos. You ever go to Oscars? Mm-hmm. Like in PB?
Okay.
No, I've never been there.
No.
No.
Oh my God, bro. Hands down,
Okay.
some of the best fish tacos. I swear to God. But
So-
they make them fresh.
You should try this one first. This is
This
our
is the
new
first, bro. I've never had a taste testing in here.
This is our new vegan.
this is from our new plant-based vegan menu that is going to start rolling out. This is just a sample. It doesn't look that pretty, but it's a tiradito de king oyster.
What?
Tiradito de king oyster. So it's completely 100% plant-based, vegan, and very delicious.
So what do? We take the ramen.
Yes,
and we
this is
pour
how
into
you
the
pick
bowl?
it up from our home. It comes like that.
Uh-huh.
And basically, this is how ramen shops serve it. It's separate,
Uh-huh.
the ramen broth. So you can take out the salsa. There's the salsa on this right there. It's really
Go with
spicy.
that.
That's our miso salsa. It's spicy. So if you don't like spice, we recommend you not putting that salsa on. But if you love spice, that miso salsa just hits the spot. It makes the ramen, what it
Yeah,
is.
I feel so special right now.
So that is short rib ramen. We use backbone as well. Short rib and backbone, but primarily short rib. And it comes with shiitake mushrooms, with enoki mushrooms, scallions, roasted corn, Santa Fe pepper, and a lot of
Oh man, that looks
sazon.
I can't
And a
eat
lot
it,
of
though.
sazon. So if you look at traditional ramen places,
Uh-huh.
ramen spots usually have like a little piece of meat, like a little piece of pork.
Yeah. I go to Underbelly's.
Yeah. So pork and just with some soybeans and some little edamame. And I did not want to do that. Like my toppings are quality toppings and they're expensive. And that's why you're going to see my ramen being compared to the best ones in San Diego, compared to the menu ultra. That I went to the favorite spots, the best spots for ramen, to compare my ramen to that and price it accordingly. And
this is what you actually get when you pick it up. Okay. This is what everybody gets.
Okay.
So it's a good. It fills me up.
No, it's crazy because I'm a foodie.
Mm-hmm. And I go to, your mouth is watering. I see it.
I'm a foodie, and I'm very particular on where I go eat, and that's why I say from the entrepreneurial spirit. Mm-hmm. You guys are making something out of pure love, just pure love, pure love, and that a lot of people are afraid to take that step. And it's amazing to me to hear your story specifically because you've already gone through the distractions, but always circled back to what you found was most important was the quality of the food, the passion that was in it, and staying authentic to that. And I think that can't be underweighed by anyone. Anybody that ever watches this, whether it's making food or you're building houses, real estate, mortgages, whatever they're doing in particular, staying true to the craft. Right?
Pays off.
Yeah. And that somebody would be willing to go across town is just crazy. Hold on a second.
Oh, man.
Well, mind you that we got an order all the way from Germany. It was from Germany, and it ended up being the Hollywood producer's home. That order came from Germany.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
They said from Germany, can you deliver the chile relleno to this house? And we're like, you know what? We really don't deliver. We've never done it.
That's the reason we went quiet.
But that day we did deliver it because we were going to meet a house that we catered for their actual wedding at their house. Mm-hmm. We went as personal chefs. And we said, you know what? Okay, well, since we're already going up to the Rancho San Diego area, why not just stop by and we'll drop it off? And we got there.
I didn't Google anything.
We didn't Google nothing. We just got there.
I said, it could be a condo. It could be condo.
But, dude, when I got them, like, oh, this is a nice house with gates, cameras. I won't say, we can't say the name, it's just, we won't. But then we handed the food to the person. Then me as a good realtor, I'm like, let me see who it is.
Boom, I'm just going to say it's Keanu Reeves, producer.
Well, yeah, that's it. Let's leave it at that. And then I Google the name. I'm like, whoa, we just delivered. This guy took our food from our hands. I'm like, what? We didn't even know. We had no idea. He was just smoking a cigar and he came and got it. I'm like, that's pretty cool. He came and
grabbed the food from us. And by that time we were like, we just delivered. So we just delivered the food and left. But when we left the gates, we were like,
how cool.
No, we were like, who was that? Like, Antonio being a real estate agent, what can he do?
Pull that property profile.
Yeah. Start looking the name up.
Looking the name up, we saw it. We Googled the image. It was him. He was the one that took our little bags of food. And
that speaks volumes, though. You know what I mean? I mean, it really does. It speaks volumes. Having a business that's truly based on word of mouth, multi-million-dollar businesses start off like that, and they're true to it, and it goes for anything, whether you're making jeans, hats, doesn't matter, and people can tell, your clients can tell if you just change one little thing and it wasn't as good as when it was first there. A lot of times we see that with restaurants when they first open. They're phenomenal, they're great, awesome sushi, this is the best. And you keep going there over time, and you can almost see over time it declines and it's not the same anymore, And you can say, well, it's because I've been going here for so long. Maybe I'm just used to it. Mm-hmm. And I know with my wife, she's like, it's not the same.
It's not the same cook. We already know.
Usually, you can tell when the cooks change. And then the worst part is now they're changing the ingredients and the prices keep going up and the amounts get less.
It forces you to cut corners.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
But I mean,
and that's one of the things I'm not willing to compromise.
We don't cut the
all.
corners.
I tried in the beginning because, like I said, these toppings and everything that I use compared to a traditional ramen.
Yeah,
it's just I like this is expensive.
And I think as business owners, that's one of the most key pieces is not compromising to the quality.
Exactly. Because if people don't pay, then I don't have a business. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Like if while they keep paying, I can keep, I'll keep in service. But that's how it works in any business. If you don't get paid, and you can't grow.
Yeah.
So it's so important that you price your food right.
That's critical as well.
Mm-hmm.
We had the owner of Swagoo. He was here, and he was half owner. The other owner was the chef. And the chef was great at making the food, but was not good at really crunching down the numbers. Like that just wasn't his forte. And it's weird, obviously coming from a real estate business, because you're running another kind of business with a P&L and expenses, and okay, we're making the gross GCI, and it's another business, but at least you get the language of running a business that then applies to the restaurant business, because now you're another P&L and another expense, and then you do it per unit, right? You start breaking it down, and I feel like sometimes, especially in these communities, whether it's like a Hispanic community, a Black community, Asian community, you have to be willing to explore and in the mindset of learning something new. It's not just the cooking.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just that. There's another component that comes along with that to stay profitable and to be able to just be honest with your consumer. Because if you are and you charge accordingly, and they're willing to want you to ship it to Germany, that says something.
That'd be great.
Congrats to that. That says something.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had to increase our price, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Everything's gone up.
And it's going to increase when we open our restaurant more, because now I have personnel that I'm going to need to pay on top of everything. So it's going to be different. Everything has different prices. My best prices are going to be when you pick it up. And then if you want it at a party, it's going to be a different price. And in the home restaurant, everything has a different, why? Because it's a different process for everything.
But now with your experience, you can quantify that.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
It's one thing to wing it. It's another thing to be like, okay, let me reflect. And that's another thing I've been really recognizing with the entrepreneurial mindset is the reflection. Stopping, pausing. Let me look at the rearview mirror. What's been working, what hasn't been working, and what things do I need to refine, right? And that takes, swallowing the ego and the pride.
Yes. And can I tell you something why I'm here today?
Yeah.
Because
I'm gonna enjoy this, by the way.
Put some sauce on it.
Why I came here, when Antonio mentioned it, I had just mentioned maybe a few days prior your name, not your name.
Be careful with the sauce. You might want to taste it before.
It's hot. If it's
I like it hot.
Okay, we're good.
So when one of the first times I met you, or maybe not met you, but we went to a lunch, like maybe 7 years ago. You said something very important to us. Antonio had just had a great month of real estate, a great month. And he went in the meeting with you and you told him, how did you do it? And he started telling you how he did it, right? And then he started telling you, but now I'm going to go this, I'm going to get this software. I'm going to go this, I'm going to get that video. Now I can do that. And you were like, bro, don't do that. Look at what you just did by yourself without any of that. Look at that. That is so powerful that he was just writing everything in a piece of paper. You said that right there is what got you those results. Not that. None of that didn't. You don't need none of that, bro. Yeah. So focus on what made you the good month. And it's a lesson. I was telling my friend that because she's in real estate and she was telling me the same thing. And I mentioned you. I'm like, I can't remember his name, but this is a lesson that I stuck out of that conversation we had. And I have to remind them all the time. I even have to remind myself, you don't need this. You don't need that video. You don't need that. You need to focus on what you do well and keep doing it over and over and over again. And that's how we've gotten successful.
100%.
And she does tell me that. Every time. What did Anthony say?
Yes, I tell him. And the funny thing, you called a few days later after I had just went over with my friend, and then she realized, so you're asking me to stay authentic. Yes, that stay authentic. Don't be the cookie cutter real estate agent trying to do this, that doesn't work for you. You've never used that. I've always admired you because you're not like that. And that's a valuable lesson. We think when we like reach a little point of success, we start looking, oh, now we can afford that. Now we can afford that. Now we can, and then we focus on what, we lose focus on what actually got us there.
Yeah.
Or like I mentioned, that quality part for me was unnegotiable. When I took that order to that Hollywood producer, that was my biggest lesson. Are you ready for that, Diana? Are you ready to open the floodgates like that? And my answer was no, because I don't want to sacrifice quality. That is not just not going to happen. And that's what we could, that lesson you can get over and over again. Stay true to yourself, do what you're good at, and do it over and over and over again. For me, it's that little ramen has opened that I did over and over and over again. Thousands of dishes have gone out of that. And I can do it with my eyes closed now. I used to do it in 48 hours. Now, now I do it in a much faster process. But I did it over and over again. And now that little dish opened so many doors to many other places.
The refinement in the process.
The refinement. And then I also did my connections, did my homework, did my research, I went to the classes, got better as a business person. And then people wanted to support me. They started asking us for catering.
Isn't it amazing though, right? You start all of a sudden, man, you made me choked up right now. You start getting cheerleaders.
Yes.
People that want to see you win. They're like, yes, she's doing it. She's sticking to her passion. She's sticking to it. And people want to see you win.
Exactly.
If you're just doing it for the dollar or just for the notoriety or whatever, you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. But when you stick to your true purpose and what's most important to you, like this, you taste the love in it. And there's no replacement for that. Like absolutely none.
When we do our charity events, bring 300-400 samples of this or that we do give away, for all type of events. My team, I have the best team. My whole team is all of our family members.
All of our family.
So I'll give everybody a shout out. All my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, my brother, everybody supports us.
Yes.
That's our business. We're a family-run business.
We're going to be running the restaurant, all my family.
It's all family.
Just brothers and sisters. And I haven't mentioned, because in the whole craziness of everything, why I started, like the true reason why I started this is to honor my mother that passed away. It was her dream to be an entrepreneur. And one day I had a dream that ignited the fire that we're under. That's her. This is her. I'm living her dream. She wanted to be a food entrepreneur, but at the time I didn't believe in myself, and it took her passing away for me to want to honor her. She was my best friend, and you'll see me in the news. Everybody they always highlight my mom and everything. I did a documentary. They're following me for updates on the program and everything. And it's just, you'll see my mom mentioned in everything. It's like if she's with me, I can be talking about 1,000 things like I just did with you, but they'll zoom in on my mom's story because it was her dream, and I'm just her daughter that loved her, and I didn't want to lose her memory. And cooking her recipes have helped me heal, and have helped me find new passion for life. I have
it written on my board, by the way.
What?
Right there. We learn from tragedy.
Yes. This is a grieving project for me.
That was a quick tragedy.
Like that cancer sucks, and she didn't deserve that. But I'm here in her honor, and I'm here and I share her story wherever I can. And don't let your dreams die. Don't let your dreams die. That's, to me, if I have a voice, I want to tell people that happiness is homemade. First of all, believe in fresh ingredients. This is what she taught me. She was a mother of 8, single mother of 8, no child support. And she couldn't afford to buy us, we couldn't afford to dine in the finest places and things like that. We grew up humble, but we grew up with fresh ingredient food every single day.
Say this. I can tell you so many stories now that I've been talking to people about this. There is a very particular ingredient. There's a very particular situation that's been constantly reoccurring. And maybe part of it has to do with our culture. And I have to put this with a caveat. I hate to say it with our culture because I think all cultures do ultimately have this. Is a certain level of connectiveness. And you can see it. I know when I was a kid growing up and we would have, we didn't have the money to do it, but we did have like a barbecue. And you'd be playing tag with your cousins. And you're eating hot dogs, right? You're eating like what people would consider like peasant food, right? But they're happy. Like the family is there. The connectivity is there. There's a certain thing about it, right? And some of the best mornings that I remember is my mom with her abuelita chocolate and the pan dulce. And it's just one of those. You ever see Ratatouille, the cartoon Ratatouille?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Remember when the guy eats the what's it called? The Ratatouille.
The Ratatouille. Yeah,
he eats it and he goes, "Pah," and he flashbacks to when he's a kid and he's with his big eyes and his mom's making him and she's, you know what I'm saying?
That's my favorite part. That's why I'm in business for. That's exactly that memory. And I've been told time and time again, how, just it's that one dish or the birria in the beginning. Yeah. People from all cultures said that like, oh, it took me back, or it takes me back to this person or the person that worked and did the food and things like that. And it's just, that's the beauty of a dish, or that's the beauty of food. It's an unspoken language, like you said, and it can take you back just a little. The smell,
just the smell,
or something.
And
exactly,
you're back there.
Exactly, and that right there is what we are in for. That right there, and we get it from our customers. So it's a beautiful thing. And I just wanted to see if I had a good birria recipe. And it turns out that we have much more to give than that. And it's all in memory of my mother, that I do not want to let her memory die. And now not only do my children get to see me be passionate about my mother, and everybody's going to know that story when they come to my home. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel that love. They're going to feel that what she taught me to be a good host. Yeah. To serve good food and to serve a lot of it. Our portions are big. are gonna be big.
Do a lot of portions.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing is we cook with love, number one, and we give good amounts. Like I would rather you have leftovers and have to throw it away if you want, but I don't want you to say, "Oh, it just wasn't enough."
But bro, that's what it's like when you go to your abuelita's house.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like. they look at when you're dating, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And your girlfriend doesn't make you the plate. What's wrong with this one?
It's like we just started our meal prep for the vegan plates, and yesterday she came up, our second client. We only have 2 right now because we're starting it. This is the first week, and she said, "I have a complaint about the food." I'm like, "Oh, is it too spicy?" She's like, "That's too much for meal prep." I'm like, "What do you mean it's too much?" She's like, "Well, meal prep's supposed to be a little." I'm like, "No, I'd rather you have leftovers, just eat it later, heat it up, and then save it or give it away or throw it." She's like, "Oh, no, I'm not going to throw it." But she's like, "It's a lot."
Tell her it's 2.
So
that's what I was making for them today. Wow. It's a coconut curry that I just
made.
Cashews? With cashews and coconuts, and that's plant-based.
That was cooked this morning.
This morning it went out. Mm-hmm. And I made it a little smaller, her portions.
Yeah, so all our meal preps that we're starting to do right now is cooked fresh in the morning.
So you guys are mailing?
No,
you guys are packaging, overnighting, nothing like that?
No.
That was your one-time event?
No, I'm going to cook. I barely started
No, we've never sent packaged food anywhere.
I'm going to have them send you the pictures of all the things we're creating that I know are unique to the market. And and I'm getting people that are eating meat going plant-based. Just by sharing a few. I've shared only a few stories of dishes like this that I'm making for me and him, and now they're joining in the plant-based, and I know I have something there. So the thing with Miko's is that we cook fresh every day, and that's exactly what I'm in for. I want you to try my fresh food, and especially with vegetables, I'm cooking it in the morning.
It's a huge difference the next day.
Oh yeah,
we went to and that's why I said we're lucky living in San Diego. We went to go have Chinese food, my wife and I, a couple weeks ago here in North Park. I swear, I have never had. You guys have to try it. I had this jumbo shrimp with this cashew cream sauce on it, and you know those moments where you have that flash like this, like, oh my God. I ate it, and I was like, bam, oh my God. And so the lady that was serving us came over, and she goes, yeah, we bring everything out quick fire directly off the grill. As soon as we're done, we bring it back out to you guys because we want you guys to have it as fresh as possible. And I was like this, and I looked over, and it was just like 3 ladies behind the counter, and you just saw them smiling. That was it. Like, it wasn't work to them. They came to play.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And we're just sitting there, and I'm like this. I'm all... I gotta bring my kids here. Holy shit. And my wife's like, is it that good? And then she ate something else, and she was like, oh my God,
I wish everybody did that. I do. I don't like it where they get the food and then you put it under the heat lamp, let it sit for 5 minutes while the other plates down. I'm like, no, get in. I'm gonna quit.
Yeah. And one of the things we talked about in our previous podcast was dogma. As we talked about like last month, my friend, you don't know Dan Fulkerson, the Bulldog attorney?
No.
You see him on all the advertisements everywhere for his injury firm. But one of the things that we were talking about was like dogma. Like, this is just what you do in your restaurant. You put your stuff under the heat lamps and you take everything out at the same time. Well, that kind of benefits the restaurant because you're having a person not having to go back and forth. But if you set the expectation, like, look, what we cook here is family style, and we're going to bring it to you fresh off the grill. Like, as soon as it's ready, we're bringing it to you fresh. Is that cool? Okay, cool. Expectations set, right? Mm-hmm. If somebody goes to one of those classical schools and is taught that method of putting it under the heat lamp to bring it all at one time for whatever reason, that's the dogma. That's like, oh, that's the way we were told how to do it. And sometimes when you just take a step back to what you're doing is, no, we want you to have this fresh, right?
Exactly.
It's more of an inconvenience for us, but we don't care. The experience is now different for you. And the person, you truly taste the difference. Like, it's just completely different. It's a completely different experience.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's fresh food.
Yes.
Straight off the fire to your plate.
Yes.
Ready to go.
Yes.
And it just tastes better. I don't mind doing the extra walk or two. It's all good. As long as you get to taste the good of food, I'm good with that.
You know what, though? I love the fact that when it was coming over, it was almost like a surprise. Like, you're eating one and you're just enjoying it. Oh, shit, there's more? Yeah. I forgot. I was so wrapped in dude, oh, my God. and it reminds you of at home because that's the way it's cooking at home. Your grandmother doesn't wait to, exactly. As it's coming, she's like, here you go. Come on, finish eating. Come on, you want some more? And the plate goes around until it's empty, then the next one, then the next one, right?
Exactly.
So you're really bringing that home-style cooking to the masses. Different.
Exactly.
Yes.
Different.
To weddings. We're bringing it to weddings. We're bringing it to...
Like our wedding that we did. We had a big wedding. 180 people? 200?
240.
240 people. And we said, look, the only way we're going to be able to cook for you is the venue had a kitchen and you have to rent it for us. If not, we can't do it. And they actually went and they spent the extra fee, which was pretty pricey to get us the kitchen. And we're talking about this is a full-blown kitchen. But we already had experience through the commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
So we did everything there. The 200 and whatever chile rellenos. We had 2 buffets, one on each side.
It's a beautiful thing to see my chile relleno de birria already in 3 weddings.
But
And we
straight out
haven't even
the oven.
advertised it. We haven't even advertised it.
Straight out
We're
the
ready
oven.
to roll out the advertising because that's like, I remember when I was growing up, birria was cool.
Yeah.
It used to be in the fanciest parties.
Yeah.
Like not
I had
just
it at my wedding too.
Yeah, it's not
Well, I had we had the restaurant, so that's why.
Hey, but that, not just anybody offered a birria. So
No,
I remember,
no.
I remember it being cool, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted
It
to
takes
make
a long time
birria.
to prepare.
I wanted to make birria cool again, and that chile relleno has already
Should get
been,
shirts
like I
like
said. Yes, let's make birria cool again.
Making very cool again.
It's not just getting the meat and throwing it in there and putting water. No, you got to do the sausage. You got to bring the chile.
And then
birria
is like birria is so complex. You have to be
Yeah.
there babysitting it because it changes flavors.
Yeah.
It will need more salt. Like it's a pot that you have to take care of.
Depends on the meat.
Yes.
You can
I
write,
just made some the other day at home.
you can write the recipe and repeat it. It's not going to taste
It's not
the
going
same.
to taste the same.
Yeah.
I don't know
The
why.
cuts of meat, the
I don't know
fat.
if it's the cow or the chiles where they, I don't know, but
All the above, bro.
it's never the same. You
I think it's all
always
the
got to
above.
tweak it.
Because like sometimes you get certain chiles that are more chiloso, and there's
Yeah.
sometimes they're not. They just whatever you
Oh,
got them
yeah.
from that one time. They're more watered down. You need more of them. Tomatoes, same thing, because they have a distinct flavor. The meat, even if you get too big of a piece, and you know how like I put mine in the cast iron, so I kind of
Sear.
seared it first before putting it in there. Because one of the things I like to do for fun is I go on YouTube and I pull up old recipes, like Mexican recipes. I made chilaquiles for my parents. They came in, like cooking for them. And it was like the authentic chilaquiles down to like getting the peppers and then grilling them and then blending it.
Do you do your own tortillas? Chips?
I did my own tortilla chips.
That's
I
real.
did my own tortilla chips.
Yeah, we do all that too. We don't buy the chips. We do everything. So
Yeah.
it's good. It just comes out
It's
better.
better.
It just tastes way better. It tastes so much better. And my mom, which ironic, you know, she goes, "Mijo, I haven't had real chilaquiles and I can't even remember when." You know? And she's like, "How'd you make it?" And I was just showing her, you know, all the stuff, you know? Because some people will do a little thing like that. They'll just go get the restaurant style chips.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they'll put it on that. That's not chilaquiles. That's not the same.
Yeah, it's everything's done fresh. The chips, even the chips taste better too on the spot.
Yeah.
So
Actually, this week I just got hired for a baby shower, I believe in May, and it's gonna be a chilaquile bar. So
Yeah.
because we're doing everything
See,
fresh.
but this is the beautiful thing about this. And this, I've always thought about this, especially with this kind of podcast, because at one aspect you would think, oh, it's just a baby shower. No, you don't understand. You're having something actually handcrafted. This is different. You're talking about artisan food. This is not McDonald's. This is not even restaurant. When you're having artisan food, it's completely different.
I want you to try that.
All right.
Mix it because it's been a
New chopsticks.
See?
That's our
little
vegan.
things like that.
Man, that looks so good. You have no idea how much I'm suffering right now, but no, I'm okay.
that
I'm okay.
smell with the ramen.
I got
is,
60 more days.
Oh my god!
I cut those just for you
Really?
today.
I like the fact that the consistency of the mushroom,
Right?
it has that little bounce to it, right?
Yes.
But see, that's all these little things. Man, thank you guys for coming in today.
Awesome. No, thanks for
Well,
having us.
thank you for
man.
having us.
Hopefully,
It was all meant to be. Like I said, had just mentioned what the biggest lesson I've learned from you, not remembering your name. And then he was like, Anthony. That was because I hadn't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
But thank you for having us. It's been
you know
it's
what'd
a
be cool
pleasure.
one day when we get our backyard ready to go,
Yeah.
do a podcast out there live with the grills going on.
I'm down. I'm down.
Do some lamb chops, tomahawks,
I'm
some
down.
ribeye steaks, some picanha.
We'll be out there with our headphones on, like
I want to
pre-game it.
Yeah, we'll have a little
We
crew
have
out there. We'll have people.
this lamb that I really want people to try. It's like a lamb rack.
Yeah.
It's spiced with hoja santa. I make it with a white mole, an achiote kimchi, truffle oil. It's a beautiful dish that I really want people to come and try. That's gonna make us stand out. I just know it. But it's we have so much things coming up, different but traditional.
Yeah.
And
oh man.
And then from there, it goes to that.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're doing it. All right, so guys,
let me finish my diet. But thank you for having us.
No, awesome.
It's awesome.
Anybody as you watch this podcast, if you're an entrepreneur, you're thinking about growing your business, there was a lot of nuggets that were dropped today. There was a lot of insight. There's a lot of epiphanies that happen. I think for me, my biggest takeaway is really is staying true to the passion and not compromising and holding that standard. Click the link below, like for more, comment. Please leave what your epiphany was. What was the one thing that resonated with you? Put it in the comments. I like to see what it is. And guys, thank you for coming today.
thank you.
We're out.
Thank you for having me.
See you soon.